Piazza here, streetbellydanceclasses.com again for another quick vlog. The question today, well, it wasn't really a question, it was more of a comment from somebody about not liking a lot of belly dancers that brag about having flat abs, and that she doesn't think it's important to have flat abs to be a belly dancer, which of course we know it's not, but how she finds that to be very annoying. But it seems to be quite a topic amongst belly dancers, because of course it's all about the belly, it's all about the abs, it's all about showing him in costumes or during the workout, during the class or whatever. So it's constantly about abs and it's constantly about belly, and she said there's just too much talk about it and it's kind of annoying, and she doesn't know how to address those people that constantly talk about it because she doesn't think it's important to talk about it. Well, first of all, the fact that it is annoying you means that it is important to talk about. So I'll just say that out right there. If you don't think it's important, and things that are not important or that are insignificant in life, they don't usually bother us when other people even mention them, you know? So the fact that when someone talks about having flat abs, you don't like it, maybe it is important to ask yourself the question whether is that something you want to have, and if you don't have, then therefore you're annoyed by it. But that's a completely different topic. Now, to brag about having flat abs, that's just kind of silly sometimes to me, because it really isn't something to brag about. In fact, all you have to do is not eat as much, and then there you go. Now, having defined flat abs is a whole different story, because that means you actually have to work those abs to build some muscle. So there is hard work involved there. So, I mean, to brag about something just because it's there and you didn't really do anything about it, it's always silly to me in life, whether it's abs or anything else. And it's funny because, you know, bragging about having flat abs when you're skinny is like bragging about having big boobs when you're fat. You know, it's not something you did anything about. It's just gonna be there due to circumstances and the way you eat at the time. So I think the focus, and I've said this so many times, when it comes to women's bodies, is really on strength and health. Of course, all of us women want both at the same time. You know, we want to be skinny and we want to be toned and we want to be healthy at the same time. And unfortunately, I mean, you can accomplish all those things, of course, there is no doubt, but it's a pretty defined balance between all those three components, and it's one, unfortunately, that takes a lot of trials and errors to find out. That's why, unfortunately, a lot of women that discover that balance discover it later in life, because, you know, you do have to try a lot to find, first of all, to learn that health and strength are much more important than being skinny. And then when you learn those two and you still don't want to gain weight, finding the balance to be able to have all those things at the same time is quite tricky, you know, but it's achievable, but it's not easy, okay? So I think you should focus on that. And if you think that it's important to confront those women that constantly brag about having flat abs, first of all, I don't think it's really important to confront them. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's productive. I don't think it accomplishes anything. The other question really to ask is, I mean, how old are these girls that you're talking about that have flat abs, and how do they actually get to achieve those flat abs is a completely different story. If you were to focus on strength, maybe that is how you can bring it up as well. You know, what can you do with those abs? It's funny because I've heard that before, and it just cracks me up. One time, somebody, some skinny dude, you know, confronted a really ripped guy, and he said, "Hey, dude, nice muscles. What can you do with them?" And I think that's a very important question for us to ask. You know, yeah, everybody's after the nice body and the flat abs and whatever, the big biceps and whatever, but what can you do with it is much more important in life than just having them. So, you know, you can't compare. I mean, those girls maybe didn't have kids, or they starve themselves, or I don't know, God knows what else women do to just have flat abs. So it's important for you to be aware of that, and I think it's really important you just focus on yourself and not thinking like you have to do society a favor by just basically confronting some girls because they have flat abs. So it's not something that should be of concern to you or to anybody, honestly. That's my 2 cents on that. I mean, of course you do whatever you want, but I just think it's, I mean, I'm talking about it just because I think it's important to mention that what is important to you is always much more important than what you think other people think you should think, if that makes any sense. But it's something, of course, we learn with age, you know. A lot of experience, you know. So anyways, this is my point of view there. If you guys want to share yours, post them in the comments below this video, and make sure to like this video as well. So I'll see you guys in the next vlogs. Until then, the website is freebellyclassclasses.com. Bye.